Hi everyone, welcome to Learn Chinese with Chun. This is an episode I would highly recommend to beginner learners because I'll briefly introduce you to two indispensable elements for Mandarin Chinese learners. 汉字, which is the Chinese characters, and Pinyin. So what is Hanzi and what is Pinyin? What's the relation between them? Well, both Hanzi and Pinyin are very important if you want to learn 普通话 Mandarin. Hanzi is the Chinese characters, while Pinyin tells you how to pronounce the Chinese characters. Basically, one is the writing system, the other is the speaking system. Some people say they only want to speak Mandarin fluently, and Pinyin might be just enough to guide them in speaking Mandarin, so they opt out for the Chinese characters at the beginning, but only to find out later they need to learn the characters as well. But why? Well, Chinese characters are the essence of the Chinese language. Chinese is a hieroglyphic language, and Hanzi is the logographic part. Chinese characters are originally shape-based, and they are written stroke by stroke, like the three strokes here. The history of Hanzi, or Chinese characters, dates back to thousands of years ago, even to the Bronze Age. In fact, we can still see some resemblance of modern Chinese characters with oracle bone scripts, especially when we look at Chinese calligraphies. The character for mountains looks a little bit like mountains, and the character for water seems to flow. When we talk about Chinese as a language, we think about Chinese characters. Pinyin was only developed recently. Or I say recent, it has been decades. Pinyin is the phonetic part, and it is sound-based. Each Chinese character has one syllable presented in Latin alphabet. Learners can pronounce Chinese characters with the help of Pinyin. Children are taught to write characters of simple words like moon and to read out the Pinyin for these characters. So, 日 for sun, 月 for moon, 山 for mountain, 水 for water, 雨 for rain, 木 for wood, 禾 for rice plants, 人 for human. But learning Mandarin only by Pinyin can be confusing because different Hanzi can have the same pronunciation and the exact same Pinyin. For example, the word example and chestnut are both pronounced as 栗子 in Mandarin. Yes, we've got words with the same pronunciation in English as well, like flower and flower, but they are spelled differently. In other words, they are written differently, so we can tell one from the other when we see the words. Same for Chinese words, only that Hanzi is the writing system instead of Pinyin. If people don't know the Chinese characters, they would be confused when you try to give them a 栗子. Is it an example or a chestnut? So we need to learn both Pinyin and Hanzi as a Mandarin learner. We'll learn how to write Chinese characters and speak Mandarin with the help of Pinyin in the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.